all the things I've seen on the battlefields of the frontier, the pilot is the true dominant force. Fast and agile. Graceful, yet devastating. Perceptive, resourceful, and relentless. A pilot sees the world differently. Sheer walls become flanking routes. Pilots fight differently. Experienced in deception and maneuver, even overwhelming odds shift in their favor. But what truly separates the pilot from all the grunts and machines of the battlefield is the bond between a pilot and a Titan.
You know what? I've been using Ion way too much. I need to switch it up. I thought Northstar was going to cut it, but I think I may actually go back to my original Titan, which was Ronin. Because Ronin is quick. And honestly, the reason I put it behind was because I thought it was OP. That was one of the reasons I've left a lot of weapons behind. Like, the car is actually an SMG I barely use. That's why I'm using it now. Because I'm kind of tired of the car, but I still sometimes want to play a really fast pace. Which is what I'm going to give you today, because the theme of this video is going to be speed and deception. And speed and deception are kind of the same thing. I don't think it's exclusive to using something like Holopilot, because there's something inherently tricky about being fast. Sometimes you even trick the bullets themselves. The hit registration in this game will miss you if you're moving at a certain speed. It's more something you see with the grapple, but even then you don't see that much because people don't do optimal slingshots. But it is something you're going to see regardless, because just a hit registration when people are going really fast is just hard for most games to achieve. But when you're using something like Stim, you know, it's going to happen. So I understand that, but that's the reason I'm saying that speed is kind of the ultimate bamboozle, because it's always available to everybody. And that's what it really means to be a pilot, to be able to make use of that speed, because speed isn't just linear, it's literally vertical as well in this game. So if you're able to change just where you're standing, it throws a lot of people off. Like, some people will struggle more so shooting up. Some people will struggle shooting straight down. You'd be surprised how many people find that position uncomfortable. It's like you have the high ground, but having to look over the edge and straight down to shoot somebody, you'd be surprised how many people are not willing to do that. They just find it way too uncomfortable. Alright, that was a complete miss time. I've actually gotten that timing back, so I have been practicing a little bit with my Ronin, and that's definitely a big part of it, because you can't have people stealing your battery as a Ronin. That does too much damage, kind of like this. My Ion handles this a lot better when I mess it up, but I can fall back on Sword Core with my core. Sword Core with my block, which makes my block even stronger, and look, I managed to trade out and waste a ton of this time. Like, honestly, this is what I think about Ronin these days, and the reason I stopped playing it, I just found it so annoying. Just because of that sword block, and I get it that he needs it, but what do you guys think about him having 360 degrees of sword block, which means he can just turn his back towards you and he will block the damage regardless? To me, I think that is a little bit BS, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, because I don't want to be skewing people and just being like, Ronin is OP. Like, I'm using Ronin on probably one of the best maps for it. This is equivalent to using it on Crash Site. Like, there's just very little options for pilots to go up against Ronin when everything is so enclosed. Like, my shotgun's in range, and that's not to say that Ronin is like the best at everything. I just find him a little bit too easy to use at times, and that's why I'm not a big fan of him. Also, when things get really chaotic in attrition, which is mainly what I play, which is kind of where my views are coming from, when things get really chaotic during that time, when there's a lot of Titans, there's a lot of pilots everywhere, there's Reapers applying damage and pressure, for Ronin to just be able to stand around with a sword block and not have to worry about the direction coming from whatever way, I just find that he takes up too much time, because there's other things that need to be addressed. But when somebody has a sword block up, it's almost nullifying your damage, but not only that, it's taken away from damage that could be put somewhere else, or just attention in general that can be put somewhere else. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of this Titan. I find it too easy to use, But I can see also where it struggles on levels like Homestead, where something like an Ion is going to have the advantage. So even when I talk this out to myself, I'm just like, I'm just a salty player sometimes when I just get killed by Ronin, because at times you're just like, man, this guy's sword is just so long. He gets the melee off so quick. Between that and your dashes and your phase dash, you cut the distance so fast that you almost feel like you have no chance, especially on levels like this. But then on the more open levels, it's like, okay, well now your Ronin doesn't seem so scary. You know how nice it is to not have to worry about ejecting from your Titan when a Ronin just killed you? It's a nice relief. Like whenever I eject versus an Ion, I'm like, here we go. Like this is a 50-50 toss-up if I'm going to die. But against a Ronin, a Monarch, you're like, okay, I'm actually going to get away. And that's a nice feeling that you're not going to get going up against certain Titans like a Northstar. It's always risky. An Ion, 100% it's risky. Legions with their long-range power shots, it's risky. You know, like there's a lot of things that can kill you. But it's nice knowing that when you eject against a Ronin and a Monarch, that you're probably going to live. So that's a check to those other Titans. So, you know, why am I complaining? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a salty Titanfall player. And that's how we all get from time to time in this game. By the way, I'm really enjoying all the meta weapons. I love putting it together with Holopilot. Any other ability, as long as I have a good weapon, I just feel amazing these days. And I'm having a blast with this game right now, so I'm not going to change what I'm doing. I'm still going to keep doing, well, whatever you guys see here is pretty much what I'm up to these days. We still have a little bit more of this game, so I'm going to continue to cast it. I think this is a pretty good game so far. I thought there was some stylish stuff throughout it, like, ooh, I don't even know what to do with myself right now. I kind of want to weaken them all and try to do an arc wave to kill them. That didn't work. That's okay, that's okay. We're going to get another opportunity. Let's see if we can get this guy. Okay, the arc wave didn't run him over, but it was close. I do like those kills. I find those to be so stylish with Ronin. So there are definitely things I like about this Titan. Like, I like using it as well. But I did find that this Titan was a little bit of a bully, especially on levels like this. So that's kind of why I toned it down. I actually put away a lot of weapons as soon as they seemed overpowered to me. I know a lot of you guys have been seeing me use a car lately, but that's actually like... I'm using my sword like a can opener, but I cannot get in there. So out of all the things the sword can do, it cannot get in there. But going back to the car, like, this is actually the last weapon that I have not put a good amount of time into when it comes to meta weapons. So I'm kind of trying to get my time with it, but it's so easy to find that it is by far one of the most superior weapons. Extended mags is what I recommend on this gun because it gives you easy 2 kills off of it before you need to reload. And if somebody's really far, well, you have an extended magazine for you to miss some shots and land some. And you will probably get that kill. But up close and personal, this thing has enough bullets in it to comfortably kill 3 people. 2 with overspraying. So this gun is, it's just so good. And then, of course, the recoil thing and all that, like... It doesn't take too long to get into this one. Like, the alternator I thought was a little bit better. It's kind of in the same way that I would judge Ronin versus Ion. I would say that the car is the equivalent to that versus the alternator, where the Ion is the alternator and the Ronin is the car. And really where that leaves us is still with 2 top tier weapons. You can put them side by side and be like, these are S tier. So now saying one is harder than the other is a little bit subjective, okay guys? So this is just my opinion. There's still S tier Titans, so I'm not being like, oh, I use Ion, I'm better, or anything like that, because it's definitely not like that. Just like the alternator and the car, they're both still top tier weapons, and you know, you can't take them lightly, but there's definitely differences between the two. I've always found that the alternator is a little bit more deliberate, kind of like the Ion. You have to aim your shots. The car, well, exactly what you're seeing here. It just runs through people, which is kind of the same feeling that you get with Ronin. It's like you don't have to perfectly place your shots. You just need to keep going, and you may just be able to plow through people. Which, again, is an effect that you will get with the alternator as well. But I just think it's a little bit different. And that's pretty much the end of my rant, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to help support the channel, all you need to do is leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think. Again, thank you all for joining me. Paper, cut to you, and I'll see you all next time.